any best ways to engage with the community. And I think this is really important, like municipality leaders or EIA staff when you're a project manager in country.
So obviously, yeah, your in-country staff. It's important to keep in mind that they do this for a living, right? They're professionals, so they are a huge resource. But that being said, they're not. It's important to not use them as a crutch too. So definitely would encourage all teams to work with their in-country staff, but also come with ideas and proposals to solve problems. So it's important to use it as a collaborative mindset, um, which I think can actually be lost at times, right? I feel like some teams go down and they feel like they have to have 100% ownership of everything, and then I feel like I've also seen teams that go down and they just ask what to do every step of the way. So there's a balance to be struck there again, in how to collaborate with the EIA and country staff. And a lot of that is done through the planning that goes on ahead of time and laying out clearly what the expectations are, what the roles and responsibilities are of the team and the individual roles within the team when you're on site, and also in how you're working with the community. Yeah, so kind of one of the things I put in here is that it's super important to work within the cultural bounds of your setting, right? Keep in mind that you're a guest in the community, in the municipality, in the country, and that as a student, you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing your team, you're representing your school, and you're probably representing your country too. This could be the first time that a lot of these community members or people in the municipality are interacting with foreigners, maybe with the exception of the EIA in-country staff. So the way that you behave in your interactions with the community is going to be a reflection of a larger global community. And so just kind of keep that in mind, and balance that with, there's going to be times where you get frustrated. There's going to be times where things don't go as planned. But I find that a lot of the frustrations that occur on site often come from a lack of understanding of the full situation of what's going on. So I'd encourage you to just be inquisitive, ask a lot of questions, ask why things are happening, because there might be some just cultural things that you're not aware of too.
This is one of the most important aspects of what the project manager does, and one of the greatest indicators for whether you're going to succeed or fail in country is how well you build these relationships and how important they are. And I think that fundamentally it's about including the community and even the municipality in planning if you can, but especially the community, having meetings with them to ask to get their feedback and to ask what they might struggle with, and just all around including them in decision making will really give them a larger sense of ownership of the project, especially because our values at EIA are about community capacity building and really giving the community ownership. If you're not doing this, then you're not meeting our fundamental values, and we hope that people are. And so trusting in the community and really giving them agency and ownership over the project will reap so many benefits and be such a better experience. And then recognizing that there are huge cultural differences in the countries we work in with the United States, in the way that people communicate, in the way that people manage time, and finding out what those cultural differences are, and being the person that respects them and adapts to them. One second. Um, Being the one that adapts to those challenges, um, and respects those cultural differences, and finding out how people like to be communicated with will make your job more effective. And then learning the language as well. Being able to communicate with people in their language, even if you're doing it badly, means so much to them, especially in the countries we work in. In Bolivia, when you work with indigenous populations that have their language, like honoring and respecting their language and telling them like, hey, this is valuable and I want to spend my time investing in you and your culture, or doing the same thing in Eswatini is really cool and really a great way to connect with people, and will and will really strengthen your connections and your ability to work in those countries. And then just having fun with people, having like a good time after work with the community, like sharing the things that are important to you in your culture, if there's holidays happening, or celebrating their holidays, and just being goofy and having fun with people will go a long way. And the same is true with EIA staff too. Like we like to have fun with people, and we like to get to know teams, and having those relationships that are also fun and not just, oh, here's my review call, is really important to forming good working relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Next thing I'll talk about is the best ways to engage with the community, municipality, EIA staff, Masons, while in country. So this point is kind of specifically for Bolivia, but to learn as much Spanish as possible, which probably most of you know, but I really feel like it'll change the experience not only for you, but for the community and the Masons and the municipality if you're able to have some basic communications with them. So I had a fairly unique experience of speaking almost no Spanish on my first bridge build, and then having pretty intermediate Spanish skills by my second one. And that was because I had an opportunity to go to Bolivia and learn Spanish, but obviously not everyone has that opportunity, and it can be really hard to learn Spanish while you're taking 5-6 courses and working to prepare all the other aspects of the project, but really trying to put a priority on learning as much Spanish as possible. I really think it'll allow for stronger relationships with Masons and community members, even if you can just have very basic conversations with them. As long as you can show you're trying and you're learning, they'll really appreciate it. And kind of going off of that, you could even try to learn how to say basic phrases, good morning, how are you, thank you, in indigenous languages, because in Bolivia and Eswatini, usually English or Spanish aren't the community's first language. So showing that you are interested in learning about their culture and their language will go a long way. Another thought I had was, we had a Bridge Corps member last year who spoke almost no Spanish, but somehow created amazing relationships with our Masons and community members. And one of the things he did was he brought a small photo book with pictures of his kids and all the snow in Canada, and just kind of interesting things to look at and kind of share about his life. And the Masons and community members loved looking at his pictures with him and learning about his life in Canada and learning about his family. So just bringing along a couple of pictures or something from Canada or the United States might really help you make a connection with the community. And another point I had was this might kind of seem obvious, but really trying to incorporate community members and Masons in safety, morning stretches, quality control checks, general construction. It can be kind of easy to split into two groups almost during construction, one group of community members and then the team of travelers, and just kind of work separately. But I think it's really important that there's collaboration between the community members and the team, that you're working together on tasks, that you're showing them what you're doing during quality control checks. That's especially important for Masons. You don't want them to feel like you're going kind of not behind their back, but that you're maybe second guessing their work. You want to just share with them that this is something we have to do for EIA. It's really important that we make sure this bridge is made with good quality control so that it's safe for everyone who's going to be using it, and incorporate them in those quality control checks. Let them do the measurements themselves or check your measurements, or just help out with the quality control checks so they feel involved in the process. And things like morning stretches, the community members and the Masons might feel really uncomfortable with it at first, and obviously you don't want to force anyone too far out of their comfort zone, but if they are willing, it's a great way to bond with the community, to show them you're all a team and that you're all working together And the last couple notes I had were just that trying to go with that thought of not being two separate groups, even during construction breaks and dinners, trying not to sit separately or sit on one end of the table and the masons always sit on the other, and really trying to integrate with the community, even if you don't speak much of the language, just trying to sit with them, even if it's just to share some snacks and smile at each other. They'll really appreciate that you're making an effort. And the last thing I wanted to say was just to bring pictures of past bridge projects, both in the completion stage as well as throughout the construction process. It really, I think, because if you've never been on a bridge build before, it can be kind of confusing. What's going on? Why are we doing certain steps? Why do we have to mix so much concrete? But if you show them pictures of the processes and they get to see the drawings and the construction schedule, having all that prepared in Spanish and being able to show them the pictures of each step along the way will really help them understand why everything is happening and the process of the bridge project, and feel more involved in the project.